Hi, I'm Steve Ensel with the British Association of Landscape Industries. I'm their Education Officer, and we're pleased to be supporting Naturally Birmingham and their skills showcase. So this activity, we're going to have a look at how we collect a soil sample and how we can analyse it to see what type of soil we have. So a really easy exercise to carry out. You can do it anywhere in your school grounds where you've got access to a little bit of soil. So the things that you need is your trowel and something to put it in. So we've got a little bowl here that we're going to use. And all we're doing is finding a little bit of an area that we're going to use to take our soil sample from. And we're going to dig down a little way because we don't want the very, very top soil. We want the soil that's a little bit further down. So dig a little way down, about halfway down your trowel maybe, and then that's the soil that we're interested in. So you're going to collect a reasonable amount of soil. You've got enough to put in your jar. So you're looking to fill your jar by about 1/3 with the sample. So gauge roughly what you think would be the right amount. I'm putting mine into a little bowl just for the simple reason that what we're aiming to do is just to break up any lumps, remove any stones and any large pieces of organic matter like a bit of roots or a bit of stick or any of the any leaves that might be there. Just break it up a little bit, check through, making sure that we've removed everything that we don't need. Break up the larger clumps, remove the little bits of root, and when we've got enough like that, what we're going to do is we're going to take our jar. So you can use a jam jar, coffee jar, anything like that that's clear, and we're going to fill roughly to about 1/3. Okay, so there we go, we've got our soil sample collected, and the next thing we need to do is to add a little bit of water to it. Okay, right, next thing we need to do is to add the water to the sample so that we can start to use that to separate out the layers in the soil. So we're going to add up to around about 2/3 water. So if you've got 1/3 soil, we're looking to top that up to 2/3 of water. So add the water in to around about there. And the next thing we want to do is to give the jar a really good shake. So make sure you've got the lid on well. And what we're going to do is roll it around to make sure the water is breaking apart all the different particles in there and separating them all out. You'll need to do this for 3 to 5 minutes, okay, to make sure it works. I'll show you in a minute what happens if you don't do it for the full 3 to 5 minutes. So give it a really good shake. Okay, so we've got our soil sample now. We've let it settle for at least 24 hours, if not 48 hours. And what you're starting to see there is distinct layers in the soil. So you'll have the heavier element, which is going to be your sand. Then you'll have your silt, which is a little bit of both, got elements of sand in, but very fine sand. And then you've got your clay right on the top, which is the smallest particle sizes. So it goes by weight and particle size. So your largest ones are at the bottom, which are sand. So what you're going to do is you are going to measure with your tape measure or with your ruler the total depth of the soil sample. So from the bottom of the jar to the top of where the soil sample finishes, and we've got there a total of around about 38 mil. Record it on your sheet. Then you're going to measure each of your separate layers. So clay at the very top is a very thin layer of it, 3 mil. Then you've got your silt, which is on this one is around about 10 mil, and then you've got your sand there at around about 25 mil. When you add all those together, make sure it brings up to the total height. Then you need to convert that across to a percentage. So here we go with the maths. You're going to take each of the layer measurements and divide it by the total height first of all. So I've taken first of all my clay at 3 mil, divided it by 38, and then times it by 100 to give me my percentage, which is 8%. Do exactly the same with the others. So my silt at 10 mil comes out at 27%, and then my sand at 25 mil comes out at 65%. Make sure those all add up to 100%. And therefore what you've got there is your percentages in terms of the 3 different soil types that you've got there. Next thing you're going to do is to take those measurements and you're going to plot it on what we refer to as the soil textural triangle. So here on our soil textural triangle we've done just that, we've plotted it. Very easy, you follow it round logically. You start with your clay, and the clay, follow the arrows round. The clay there, remember, was at 3. 8%. So we've plotted it a line across that way. We then plot our sand, our silt, which is 27 here. Draw a line down there following the arrow. And then the final one there is our sand at the bottom there at 25, which we did converted to 65%, which means there where those lines all cross tells us that we have sandy loam soil. Now you may say to yourself, well, what on earth do I need to know all this for? Understanding your different soil types is really important, from if you're a gardener or a landscaper who's wanting to know what type of plants you're going to plant, or even to a degree what you're going to do to prepare and improve that soil should you need to. It also tells you if you've got very kind of wet and waterlogged soil. So if you've got lots more clay in there, it's going to be more waterlogged. If you've got lots more sand, it's going to be more free draining. And if you're going to do civil engineering and things like that, you'll need to understand those elements as well. So that's how you collect and record a soil sample to determine what you have.